I'm here with Jason Suriano. He is the founder and CEO of Quickify.ai, and it's a really interesting company, but I'll let him tell you a bit about it. Tell me about your company, Jason.
So I've been working on the platform Quickify.ai for almost 10 years now, with the most recent launch of the newest version, which helps companies create interactive websites in minutes and training courses in seconds.
So tell me a bit about what type of courses and training your company can create.
What's been really interesting is anyone now can create almost anything through the power of AI. So any course that they can think of. We've already created over 150 courses in 2 days. Some of them including courses for things like testicular cancer, different awareness courses, AI training. It's really anything you can think of, you can create in seconds.
So let me understand, you created 150 courses in 2 days?
In 2 days, and they're valid and could be implemented immediately. So you could go from no training to a website and interactive courses in less than a day if you wanted to.
How do you make sure, when you're working with that kind of speeds, how do you make sure the knowledge is accurate?
And we get asked this question a lot, right? Because obviously ChatGPT can hallucinate, or you can get some information that isn't very accurate.
Yeah, it's well known, right?
Right, but we've been able to work to create an agent that's based on my 20 years of learning and development experience, that it goes to understand what goes into creating a course with reinforcement learning principles, how to create different activities like slideshows, drag and drop, true, false, multiple choice, so that it always sequences the content correctly, and that ultimately what we're doing is we're helping an administrator review content and become more of an editor instead of an author every time.
Interesting. And to my understanding, you're not just a tech guy. You have an extensive training in this field. Tell me a little bit about you and your background.
So I'm one of the first people in the world to graduate with an MA in digital humanities. And I started as an instructional designer. So it's given me a very different perspective on how this works. Having more of a philosophy and arts background means that I'm very cognizant of how the content needs to be created, but also most importantly, how this works for the end user.
That's incredible. Now, why did you want to start this company, Jason?
Well, originally I almost didn't. I'm actually one of those people who said I would never be an entrepreneur, but we know how that goes. You sort of,
I get it. Yeah.
Sometimes you kind of fall into it. But I'm just really passionate about helping people learn at work and doing it in a fun way. And that's where we also brought in the element of gamification a long time ago to validate how players earn points and badges, and administrators can use that information to create a database profile on that user to learn what's working and what isn't, and how they can improve the learning for their audience.
Interesting. So you're saying if I take one of your Quickify.ai courses, I'll be rewarded with badges and points as I learn?
Yeah, that's right, along the way. So it's encouraging you to progress and unlock the next activity, but it's also being tracked in the background so that the administrator can see how far you've progressed. If you've done something multiple times, which could indicate that you might be having an issue with that subject matter, so that they can go in the back end and fix it in seconds.
Interesting. That's, I have 2 kids and I see them playing games all the time, and I play games with them. And that's neat how you've taken that whole concept of reward into education in our daily lives. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because we also have this, it's called the cell phone or smartphone cycle problem, where everyone basically has almost like attention deficit, where we'll look for something on our phone and forget why we were in there in the first place.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that, yeah.
So what Quickify is doing is it's really quick hit, quick burst activities where you're only spending maybe 1 to 2 minutes in each activity before it unlocks the next one in the sequence. So that it keeps your attention and you are engaged in the material, which means when you go out to frontline in your job, you're more likely to remember the information that you were interacting with.
Interesting, okay. Now, to my understanding, Quickify, you're in Canada, but your product is global. your Quickify.ai is available around the world in multiple languages?
It is right now. So because we're still pretty early stages with this version of the product, you can create courses in different languages, but we're working at adapting some of the interface elements to make it universal.
Interesting. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your clients that you have using this, or your companies that are using your system currently?
Yeah, so we have a couple of universities using it. One larger pharmaceutical company that unfortunately I can't mention, but they're testing it out right now.
Yeah.
And we've been working a lot in the construction and industrial space as well, because there's a lot of like lower literacy individuals in those areas where they need quick hit visual, auditory learning and interactive objects that
Mm-hmm.
they can start in the field, like wherever they are.
Mm-hmm. And I think you nailed it right there. Like, I know as I run companies and businesses myself, staffing is always a huge issue, and especially literacy and getting the right talent that have the abilities that I want. And a lot of times I'll hire on personality, people that get along with my team. But if I can educate them and get them to a level using your product, I think that just changes the game, because I can take someone that's fantastic with our crew, but mid-tier, let's say education or training level, and with your solution, bring them up to the level that I need. And is that something I can do with Quickify?
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of the things that comes up a lot, and this term is used sort of interchangeable amongst industries, but really onboarding is the biggest starting
Huge.
point and problem,
Yeah.
right? And what we found is that now that administrators can create this type of interactive training really fast and really without a large team, they can engage individuals on their own time faster, so that they already have the corporate knowledge, like culture, values, benefits,
Yep.
and they hit the ground running instead of dropping them immediately into the deep end with all the most complex information. So I think there's a foundational element about the businesses that's been getting skipped over time, and I think we
Yeah.
really help to fill that gap as well.
Interesting. Yeah, that's fantastic. I think that just changes the game. So Jason, tell me about the future of Quickify.ai. Where do you see it going?
Really, I see it supporting learning and development professionals, but there's a lot of new people who are expected to do training or onboarding that don't have the skills and expertise to do it. And I think the tool can really help anyone become a learning designer. So essentially the way that Canva has helped companies or individuals become graphic designers, Quickify is helping anyone become a learning designer.
Interesting. And there's been a lot of interest from business and investors and circles that you're in. Tell me about how is all this happening?
I mean, it might look like from the outside that this is happening, in seconds. I mean, I've been fortunate to be a 3 times founder, with 2 exits, who successfully raised venture capital. So I think it makes it a little bit easier because there's some credibility there, but it just takes a lot more time and hard work than I think you would expect with some of these things. But for us, it really was a nice marriage of like the years of work in the infrastructure and the user experience meeting up with now the ability to generate this type of content or visual acuity with AI.
Yeah, that's quite impressive. Do you want to talk about maybe some of the companies that you've worked with in the past?
Yeah,
Name.
it's probably good to name
Sure.
some of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jason, tell me a bit about some of the companies that you worked with.
One of the biggest companies we worked with was Discovery Communications, so Discovery Channel, and that was one of the first iterations of the product. So we were a small team of 4 at that time working with like a global media company, which really helped us understand a lot more about like the end user experience, making things more fun and engaging, but also driving like corporate results or return on investment. Over the years, we've just been really lucky to work with like different companies like Atco Electric or companies like Bayer now who've, oh shit, actually I can't say that one.
No worries, you can edit it.
Okay. Shit, I'm just trying to think, thinking logos. Oh, so we've worked with companies like Discovery, Waste Management, Atco Electric locally in Edmonton, and other institutions like universities, like the University of Alberta or Calgary. So a lot of local universities in Canada and colleges like NAIT, who've helped us do a lot of research and development testing and prove out the model, right, to make sure that it's accurate and valid.
Interesting. Awesome, Jason. I think that's an incredible product. I see you changing the industry, and you're going to make a big impact on making people's lives easier when they join companies, or they want to increase, or they want to grow in their careers. They can go to your system for an easy source of knowledge. So congratulations, Jason. So thank you for playing in this industry and making an impact.
Awesome. Thanks, Raoul. I appreciate it.